having that sense of accomplishment of, oh my God, we're finishing this finally, is now overshadowed by, why? Why? And
Ruin this whole section of fence.
down, like, holy.
Yeah, so they just climbed the fence and just pulled everything with it. Isn't that brutal?
It's frustrating because, we use this fence because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't, super strong because it's not meant for, per se this. This is why we tie it with, electric.
Yeah.
Right? But, like now, basically, we'll have to cut this panel out because there's no fixing this spot here. But not only that, it's also created a weakness in this. So it's something big and heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say it's a deer because they can jump. A deer fence is like 7-8 feet tall.
Yeah.
So this was something heavier that climbed over. Bear, maybe?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not mud here, so we can't tell. But this is the second one. We haven't fully finished this pasture expansion yet, which is what we're doing today.
Yeah.
This is incredibly aggravating to me because the hope was, in an hour, everyone could come back, which meant the dogs.
Right.
Dogs can't come back with this. The goats can't come back with this. Nothing can come back with this. So, having that sense of accomplishment of, oh my God, we're finishing this finally, is now overshadowed by, why? Why? And part of the, this is just because it's also wasted money.
Absolutely.
Wasted time. Some people who watch this might be like, why don't you just pull it up? And I'm going to show you why. We don't just pull this up. Because this is now a weakness that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Now this is a weakness.
Goats are really clever when it comes to weak points in a fence. So we can try to pull it up.
Yeah. But it never goes back to how it was. And, you can make it somewhat. And, you guys watching this might be like, that's good enough. But this was super tight. It's now not tight. This post is probably going to have to be redone in a new spot because it's too weak there.
Yeah. And we might be able to pound it down where it is, but...
A little bit more, but, overall, it's quite frustrating because this is not the first spot. There's another spot over there that is kind of like this, which I did pull up and I was like, board will be kind of it. But when you get to use this wire and electric together, it also means you can have a bigger span of space in between your posts.
Right.
So if we weren't using the electric, we'd probably do 8, max 10 feet. This is probably closer to 12 or more. And, so it does lend it to having a little bit more give. And so, like, adding a board is just going to not, like... It's aggravating.
Well, and on top of that, this is one of our corner posts. So this post provided support to all the other posts. Yeah. So when this one comes weak and slack, it slackens up the entire fence.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with what they did here.
Yeah. And it's annoying because on Cujo's collar, I can actually check in. And I check in with her several times at night. Not only that, sometimes when she's really, really, really mad, I can hear her at the house. But this is why she's mad. And on her tracker, it shows, that she's sleeping, but her energy level and activity peaks about 11. And, into the early hours of the morning, she's going. And, like, this is why. Because they're here where they're not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm thinking the way that this was is that they probably entered down here, and their way out that they were thinking was this way.
Yeah, and they just pulled it down and walked over.
And they just pulled it down and walked over. So I'm guessing perhaps a bear, because a deer would have had...
Or a bobcat, even.
Well, bobcats are small and agile, right? So
yeah, they could jump it.
I don't think we would have known. But, Yeah, like this crumpled it. So it'd be like me freaking beach whaling this.
The last time I saw a fence crumpled like this, it was because we had a big dog that did it. So it really does make sense. It was probably a bear.
It pulled it down. Oh, I mean, it did pull some down.
Yeah.
But only like probably to here.
Yeah.
Now, this experience is now number 3. Because we did have a bear something go internal in one of our expansions, like, which is the emu field, basically, where that line is, that took down a fence, like, took it to the ground. And it might sound, over dramatic to say it's a bear, but a deer would probably be smarter to not jump into trees.
Right.
Stuff. It would have picked right there.
Yeah.
Because they're smarter. The bear is like, I'm going up and over. That's, they don't jump. So it doesn't matter what's here because he's coming down right here.
Yeah.
So it's not being over exaggerating of predator load. And then like coyotes and stuff are like dogs. They would have just left the way they came in.
Yeah, exactly.
Or cleared this because they can clear this.
Yeah.
But this is aggravating.
This is why we need our dogs out.
Yeah. And I didn't come here to check the fence line, which now we're going to have to walk the entire line, which we were going to anyway. But we're not even where I was going. And I had to stop because I saw it through the trees that this was collapsed. This is annoying.
All right.
Aggravating. It's Sunday. I was going to knock off a bunch of tasks and feel super awesome about what I achieved. He is not welcome.
All right, guys. Join us again when we find more spots and we send Jessica right over the deep end. Bye.